Hey guys, I'm Vanessa Marie Carter. I have a new single out called Bless My Heart. I myself am a hair and makeup artist. I did my own hair and makeup for the video, and if you guys would like to see how I recreate this look, then please keep watching.
Bless my heart, sitting in a Sunday pew, in this short white dress and these black studded leather boots. I'm circled away, I've been painting a couple rooms. Take me to the light.
All right, so I'm gonna start by moisturizing my skin. I'm gonna use the Embryolisse Lait Cream Concentrate. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is prime the skin. So I'm gonna use the IT Cosmetics Anti-Aging Collagen Veil Primer. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is apply foundation, and this is the one I wore on the day of the shoot. This is the YSL All Hours 24-hour wear foundation, and I'm wearing the shade B40. And then I'm just gonna use my beauty blender to blend that in. You can use a brush or a blender, whatever you like, and I'm just gonna focus the foundation kind of in the areas that I need a bit more coverage, and also make sure I bring it down the neck. All right, and then once that's all blended in, I'm gonna take the Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer. I'm gonna apply that under my eyes, kind of around my nose, and anywhere that I wanna also highlight a little as well. And I'm using the shade Light Sand. And now that I look totally crazy, I'm gonna go back to my beauty blender and blend that all in. Okay, and then I like quite a contoured look, so I'm gonna do my first contouring step, which is a cream contour. And I'm gonna use the Anastasia stick foundation in the color Fawn. And I'm gonna just run that kind of under my cheekbones and anywhere that I want to look a little bit more structured. I still look crazy. Gonna go in with my beauty blender. Okay, and then the day of the video shoot was really hot, and I knew it was gonna be a long one, so I wanted to make sure that I set everything really well. So I'm gonna go in and not really bake, but kind of just set the concealer and anywhere on my face that's lighter with the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder, and it's the color Translucent. And I'm also going to do that with my beauty blender, multi-purpose tool. And I don't usually like my makeup super matte because I have dry skin, but when I know that I'm gonna have to wear it for a really long time and I want it to stay put, I always add a little more powder than usual. I'm also going to apply a little bit on the eyelids, just as a bit of an eyeshadow base. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with more contour. This is going to be a powder contour. And I'm going to just take this anywhere that I laid down the first cream contour. So the one I'm using is by Rodial, and it's the Rodial Instaglam Compact Deluxe Contouring Powder in the shade 3. And again, because I knew this was gonna be on camera, I did a pretty strong contour. I added more contour than I usually would on a day-to-day. And kind of the key to contouring is just adding product little by little, because if you add too much right away, you're gonna end up with stripes all over your face that are difficult to blend out. All right, and then to blend that in and give myself some color, I'm going to use some bronzer, and I'm gonna start with the Girlactik matte bronzer in the color Cabo. I'm just gonna take that on a big fluffy brush. And I'm just going to apply that kind of anywhere on my face the sun would naturally hit, and make sure I take it down my neck as well so that everything is nicely blended. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add a cream highlight. So I'm going to use this is the MAC Prep and Prime stick in the color Light Boost. So I'm just going to put that kind of under my eyebrows, down the bridge of my nose, my Cupid's bow, and just blend it in with my finger. And then I'm gonna go in with a highlight, and I think on the day of I used a mix of two. So the first one I used is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's in the Filmstar Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight Palette. So I'm just gonna take it on a little brush, and I'm gonna put it on my cheekbones and down the bridge of my nose and my Cupid's bow. Okay, and then I also added a little bit of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Champagne Pop, which is a favorite of a lot of people. Right, now that we are glowing, I'm gonna go in and do my eyes. So again, the day of, I didn't wear a whole lot of eyeshadow. I just did kind of neutral browns with a little bit of shimmer. So I'm gonna go in with the Naked Basics palette from Urban Decay. So lots of good neutrals in there. I'm gonna start with the color Naked 2 and just put that all over the lid. All right, so from the same palette, I'm gonna go in with the color Faint, which is just a deeper brown. So I'm just gonna use this color to kind of define the crease a little bit. All right, and then to add a little bit of warmth, I'm actually gonna go in with a bronzer as an eyeshadow. This one is a great drugstore find. It's Milani Baked Bronzer in the color Soleil 05. And I'm just gonna pop that in the crease as well. I'm gonna go in with actually a little bit of that first color we used and just run it under my lash line. So back to the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. And I'm just gonna put the light shade under there. I don't want a lot of darkness. I just want a little bit of definition on the lash line. And now I'm going to do my eyebrows because it's driving me crazy that I don't have them on. So I'm going to use the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil, and I'm using the shade 2. Once those are looking semi-even, eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so don't worry too much about it. I'm just going to set them, and I'm gonna use another drugstore favorite. This is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper, and it's got little fibers in it, which kind of thicken the eyebrows as well. I'm using the color brown. All right, now I'm going to do a winged liner. So for this, I'm gonna use the, this is a stupidly expensive product, but it works really well. It's the Tom Ford Eye Defining Pen. It's got 2 ends to it, which I really like. I'm gonna go in with the smaller end, which is great because you can just use whichever one you're more comfortable with. And I'm going to come in really close to the mirror for this. This is always the scariest part of eyeliner, when you've done one really well and then you have to get the other one to match. So with winged eyeliner, I mean, it takes a bit of practice, but just take your time, keep concealer on hand if you mess up, and little strokes are always best. Okay, so now I'm going to take just a plain black pencil liner or dark brown liner. That day I used black, if I can find it. And I'm just gonna run it, this part is gonna look a little scary, I'm just gonna run it on the upper waterline and tight line, just to make sure that there's no white gaps where the winged liner is. As you can see, that just makes everything look a little cleaner. I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of highlight right onto the center of the eyelid now that I'm looking, because I think it was a little more shimmery that day. So I'm gonna go back in with my Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow and use the highlight color. And I'm just gonna pop that right on the center of the lid so that it catches the light. I'm actually gonna come back to the eyes in a second. I'm gonna go back in and just do a couple more things to my skin. I'm gonna add the Filmstar Bronze and Glow, the highlight that we're using from that palette. I'm gonna go in with the Contour Bronzer shade, and I'm just gonna go over the contour one more time. And then I'm just gonna go in with my Beauty Blender one more time and make sure everything is really well blended. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the eyes and go in with some mascara. I'm using the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara in the color 01. I think it's just whatever the black shade is. So now that the mascara is on, I'm gonna let it dry for a couple seconds, and then I'm gonna add some fake lashes. And the ones that I like to use are by Ardell, and they're these little trio lashes. So they're individual, they're not strip lashes, but there's 3 of them in a knot. And the lash glue I'm using is the Duo Eyelash Adhesive in the dark color, and I've used this for years, I really like it. And then I'm gonna start with the shorter lashes and just apply them on the inner corners and then work my way out. All right, so I just added 3 pieces onto each eye, and as you can see, they just make my eyes look a little more open. I'm gonna let that glue dry, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of mascara and just blend them to my natural lashes. All right, so now I'm gonna go on to lips, and that day I used 3 Charlotte Tilbury products, actually. So the lip liner that I use every single day of my life. I think I've gone through about 6 probably. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat lip liner in the color Pillow Talk. And it's just the perfect nudie pink. And I just kind of go over my lip line and overline it slightly to make my lips look nice and full. All right, once that's on, I used a combo of 2 Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. The first one I used is in Very Victoria, and it's just kind of a darkish brownie color. And I just applied that to the outer corners of my lips, and then for the center part of my lip, I'm using the color Kim KW. And then I'm just gonna take my finger and kind of blend that all in. Something that another makeup artist showed me one time, which I thought was really cool, and I do it all the time now, is to take a little brown pencil and just go over any kind of beauty marks you have on your face. It makes your foundation look a little less heavy and everything kind of look a little more natural. So I'm gonna go back with my brow pencil, and I'm just going to go over my beauty marks. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more powder just to make things nice and matte, because again, that day was long and I was in the sun. And I'm not a big blush person because I naturally get quite pink. But if you'd like to add blush, I would do that now. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is set everything, and I'm gonna use the Glam Glow Glow Setter Makeup Setting Spray. And I think that is the makeup done. And then for the hair, all I did that day really was kind of make sure my ends were straight. I added a few kinks in with a flat iron, and I kept it kind of messy because that's how I like my hair. I did take a teasing comb actually, and I just kind of wet the roots a little bit. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of a texturizing spray. This is the IGK Beach Club Texture Spray, so good. And that is it.
I'm sorry for the way I've been